you will find that the black people have been systematically kind of drawn into a circle where, despite the black man's attempts to try and abide by the law and to live life on a linear term as far as the white world is concerned, the black people do not have any means of actually getting through these white societies, from the racist white schools that teach white biology and teach white doctrine, despite the fact that black people actually have black doctrine, which has been indoctrinated in many parts of the world, from Africa, which teaches about the importance of family, of elderly respect, of agriculture, of labor. We are taught white doctrine, which is white genetics are superior, white education is superior. And the ironic thing about all of this is the level that you come to realize. If these people are so superior, why do they act so inferior? Why is it that with all the education, with all the tools, all the resources, all the infrastructure, all the land that they possess, you still find many situations where their economy and their community has become so inferior to the point where through pandemics or through just general procedures, they have proven to lack ethical responsibility and the appropriate measures towards dealing with simple matters. With all the money that white people claim to have, you find that the white people still lack the ability to develop, to move beyond the barriers of oppression, to rather actually grow, to build infrastructure. But instead, they use this money and they use this wealth to oppress the black masses. They divert all of their attention towards oppressing the masses, despite being grateful for what they have. And furthermore, it really does make you wonder that with all the education, you will find that premarital intimacy amongst white teenagers is on a rise, particularly within liberal societies. You will find that with all the health and education that white people have been proven to lack a severe degree of fitness, especially when it comes to comparing themselves to black people. Although I don't like to compare apples to oranges, you will find that these white people are indoctrinating surgical procedures, diet pills, in order to kind of compensate and address their inability to appropriately educate the health and the fitness lifestyle, which is essential for humanity. And this is a group of people who are just particularly in denial, consistent denial of their own actions. They can't take any form of feedback. They believe that they are so good, the best thing since heaven had ever sent anybody else. And it is your understanding, to your claim, that these people are better than you, not because you determined that by yourself, but because they went through their entire life oppressing you just to show you that. And how they go through that procedure is still happening today. It is extremely difficult to ignore it, because at the same time, one must have compassion for such a race which can teach us as the majority among the world. I'm talking about the Black majority, the Asian majority, the Latin majority. We can be taught a lot about the white world. We can be taught that your money does not solve your problems. You look at any liberal society, particularly in North America, where they claim to have so much success, money, love. However, divorce rates are at an all-time high. Infections are at an all-time high, whether through intimacy or through viruses or through any means possible. Debt is at an all-time high. Just everything. The crime rate amongst whites is at an all-time high. You will find that when you turn on the news and you all you need to do is type in police alone, and you will see that they have been called out for their fraudulent behavior. They have been actually the same jail that they created. They have fell into for their inability to actually live in accordance to the law. You will find that they never thought this day would come when the masses actually connect and call these systematic beliefs out. These doctors too, these doctors who claim to treat the situation, have been found nothing more than a bunch of people who have been guilty of actually imposing more harassment, and the list just goes on and on. Meanwhile, if you wanted to get the experience of a black person is a hustler. A black person is hustling for his family to survive. We as black people, and I can speak on behalf of a lot of black people, at least within my position and range, we have never initiated any acts of violence as a majority. We have never initiated any acts of oppression as a majority. The situations which are rare, and you will see them perhaps reported on the news. It's the only time you'll see a black person on the news, despite the fact that we have black doctors doing impactful things, and we have black activists who are actively working amongst the black masses to provide jobs and to provide safety under the law. The only time when you see a black person being posed as a threat to the white community is when that black person points the finger and criticizes a white person for oppressing their community, for oppressing their children with teenaged white girls who seduce these black men into traps of child support, of covert slavery, from the masses of white people who constantly racially abuse and mentally, psychologically harass black men within the workforce, within the educational force, and within their neighborhoods, to the point where they drive these black people out. And because of the inability of these black people to seek appropriate education, as these whites claim to have promised through their laws, you will find that the black people, because of the lack of education and because of the lack of fair treatment within the medical field, these black people are forced to defend themselves, defend their minds, defend their communities. And sometimes because of the failure of the white community to deal with black people, you will find that these black people have to resort to defending themselves by any means necessary. And this is nothing new. This is just something that looks bad when black people do it. For hundreds of years, white people have been practicing armed militia, the rights to bear arms, to the point where their law even states, and their police, white people have been practicing armed militia to the point where their police and their law states that they have the right to bear arms. Even within liberal parts of the world, they have the rights to bear arms for hunting, for safety, for defense, and for protection. And that's exactly how they have used their rights to keep anybody who intervenes on their matters out of the country. The only reason you will find that they possess that law is because deep down inside they know that they are guilty of many groups, from native Indians, or I do not want to be too sensitive with the way I categorize the labeling of these groups of people, but let me even just point out the black people in particular who white people are oppressing, and you will find them even traveling around the world, even to parts of Africa, even still trying to colonize mentally these black people today. You will find that the only reason you will ever find a society that gives you the permits to bear a firearm is because you have failed to protect a particular group of people. You have failed to establish peaceful terms. This is exactly the situation you find yourself in. So tell me, if the police have the right to bear, if the hunter in the northern part of the Western Hemisphere has the right to bear, if an average citizen can walk around in America with a firearm strapped to his waist, you consider that as acceptable as far as your law is concerned. But when a black man is even seen within, let's even say, a 9-mile radius of any kind of that established law possible, you point the finger at the black man, and you accuse that black man, and you systematically alienate his rights to that doctrine, when in fact that doctrine was created by you. And that same doctrine that these white people created, they are the same ones who will point the finger at you for using it.